All right, Bodie, we're live on Facebook and YouTube. We've
Awesome.
known each other for damn near almost a year. I just want to say, man, I really appreciate you, appreciate your friendship, and appreciate the value of connection that we both have. Like I've met people who value connection, but I just don't think they understand it the way that like I did is what I thought. And then when I met you, I was like, oh, this guy gets it. Like, this is how I was taught about when I was mentored by Melvin Turner Sr. So I just want to say thanks, man, and grateful for you to be able to hop on here and to support me in this 30 speaker for men's mental health awareness. And man, I just appreciate you.
Hey, right back at you, man. And I meet with so many people, but some of them really stand out. And it's not that they're better than the other, but it's that energy, that energy exchange. When I talk about that ROE, that return on energy, not just the ROI. And some of the best friends I've made, I have no idea how I met them, and I don't know how I met you, and that makes me know that it's authentic, and and that it's going to go places. So I really appreciate you too, and I'm really excited to support you with Show Up to Win, and you having me on the show. So thank you. I appreciate you too, man.
Absolutely. All right. So I'm going to hide you and then we'll go into the recording of the podcast. Hey, everyone. Thank you so much for watching another episode of Show Up to Win presents Show Up to Hill. This is episode 27 with Bodie Shabodi. And I'm really excited. I really enjoy getting to spend time with him and just having conversations and just sharing presence. And so I'm going to bring him up. There you go. Getting better at that part. Hey, Bodie, man, thanks a lot for coming on and supporting this endeavor with Men's Mental Health Awareness Month.
Yeah, no, it's my pleasure, and anything I can do to support people in there, and it's not just me supporting; it's me learning as well there too, right? Because I mean, we go through it all, even if we're coaches or not, and I'm not a coach, but yeah. So no, I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. So what I like to do is at this very beginning is just allow you to receive me reading off your bio. I think sometimes we're so busy we don't get to receive, and we're able to hear ourselves from a third person view and being able to be read off by someone. I think it just hits different. And then I'll ask a question about that, and then we'll go into the podcast. Bodhi
Sure.
Shibodi is the founder of Sanctum Circle and the Wellness and Lights events, an international wellness ecosystem that is redefining how people connect, heal, grow, and collaborate in a rapidly changing world. After years of observing the limitations of traditional networking and marketing, and transactional business relationships, Bodhi developed a philosophy he calls return on energy, ROE. The belief that our greatest opportunities, healing, fulfillment, and success come through authentic human connection and the energy we invest in one another. Okay, Bodhi, man, how's that land for you?
It's great, and then, I really appreciate you reading that out because it's a lot different than when I read it or when I type it. So it's pretty much the first time I've had somebody read back, the short bio that I have there. So no, it resonated really well and it lit me up, man. So I really appreciate that too.
Yeah, absolutely. And so I've been asking the same question for all the speakers, and so I want to ask you also for men's mental health awareness. What do you think we're doing correct? What do you feel like we're missing the boat on? And then what do you feel like we could do better?
Oh, geez, now you'll have to deal with my ADHD because you asked me three questions there, and I'll answer them. And if I miss something, please let me know.
Absolutely.
But the one thing that I tend to find that we miss is the lack of in person communication. Connecting with each other in real time, and instead of listening. We have so many um, facets to learning now. With social media and it's short. And we there's just such a wide variety of it that it's really hard to connect with those that you're really connected with like you and I. You know what I mean? And that's why I built platform ecosystem, if you will, is that it's real human and human connection, right? And like we're an AI free zone, meaning we've built on SIHIEI, which is spiritual intelligence, human intelligence, and emotional intelligence, all the things that built AI, right? And so that's we really make it a point, and I make it a point for myself, because with my ADHD, which I love, is like a superpower for me. I can sit on Instagram and TikTok for hours and learn so much and take in so much, and I feel like I'm learning, but I don't know how to explain it. But when I connect with somebody, say like with you one-on-one, or with one of my partners with Sanctum Circle, it's just so much more beneficial to me in the soul, right? So I think that the things that we're lacking is that human and human connection. And can you ask me the other one there? That you think we're doing right? Are you? Do I still got you there? Okay, yeah. So the things that I think we're, doing right is what you're doing. Is these one-on-one, chats here that get displayed to the public. And I love the name, right? Show Up to Win, because you've built such a strong community. I've built such a strong community, and people trust you and people trust me. And that's where it goes into, I want to not just network myself and connect with people, just myself. I want to connect my community, because I can speak, feel, hear the energy and frequencies of our entire community, and with people like you, Dwayne, and other people that I'm connected with. That's what I think what we're doing right now is what really is going right, for that. So that's that's what I believe is the right way of things going right now. And then there was the third one you asked me, and I forget which one that was.
What do you feel like we could do better?
Oh, better? I think it's well, you and I, just even before we jumped on here, talking to about how many people we connect with. I do 6 to 8 Zooms a day, and I burn out. And I believe the pandemic was, I don't want to say to blame, because it was kind of a blessing, because I connect with way more people now that I can connect with Zoom. And now I've connected with you. You're in the US, I'm in Canada, or Mexico, and so see, there goes my ADD again. Sorry. So what were you? Yeah, you asked me.
No, so I asked what we could do better, and you went back and you referenced our conversation. Yeah, go ahead.
So what we could do better is, like, I think more of maybe not doing the Zooms that, like you and I were talking about, because like I'm up at 6 to 8 Zooms, but actually connecting with people in person. It's just so readily available for us to be online, and it's just so easy and all that kind of stuff, that it now is getting us to lack, the actual one-on-one in person, or even, these community events and whatnot, where real people are there, where you can really share that energy and frequency. So I think there needs to be more of that. And and I think that's something that we could be definitely better at.
Okay. So one thing I want to share is I appreciate Bodhi saying, like, hey, my ADHD, for me, is I'm on the spectrum also. So I also want to make sure that, like, I have a nice, secure, safe place where Bodhi's able to say something freely like that, and it be able to be received, and me be able to navigate the interview differently. And so I just want to share that with you. So Bodhi, one question for you is, when you're able to come on a show like this right here, you have your nervous energy, you have those type of things. You also have your ADHD. How important is it for someone like a host like myself to be able to hold space, also be mindful and aware of what you're going through, so we can create a better interview? But ultimately, what does that do for your mental health?
Oh man, it's huge, because if you would have interviewed me a year ago, excuse my language, I would have shit the bed here, and I would have, my internet connection, it's not working. I would have backed out of it, out of fear, but I've learned that it's okay, and it's not a fault, where I thought my ADHD was a fault. You know what I mean? So I have no problem saying to you like, hey, what were we talking about? And there will be many times I speak on stage where I will warn the audience, like, hey, I might forget what the heck we were talking about there. I'll start thinking about fly fishing because that's my passion. I'll start thinking about that, or my dog chewing the bone. I get distracted, right? And then I need to be reined back. And before, if I had to do that, I'm telling you, my voice would start cracking. I would freak out. I would find every excuse to get out of there, in every which way. But now you holding space like this, and like, and and for me to be able to say, hey, what was that? What were we talking about? And going there, it's not like I do that all the time. It's not that I'm missing business, or it's not caring about what people are saying. It's just how my brain works, and sometimes I need to be kicked in the ass, to be brought back. And now that I'm open and free to be able to ask for that, and you to be able to say, hey, no problem, and recognize that, it's awesome. So I mean, for my mental health, it just gives me so much more confidence being able to not admit it, because I'm not admitting a fault or shame or anything like that, but to be able to just say, hey, man, I went off track up here. You want to bring me back? And you were able to do that. So, I mean, it builds my confidence even with that.
Yeah. So I mean, what the reason I went to this is we're showing what men's mental health awareness is, but also being able to hold space, being able to be aware is also a responsibility for someone else who's listening. Is to be able to create that space. And so for me, it was just one of those real time opportunities to be able to explain. So someone who doesn't understand or have that capability, like there is a level where you deserve to be able to be supported in that manner. So I just wanted to share that. And so you've created an incredible community of amazing people, and one of the things is like you support them, and I feel whatever I can do to support you is something that I'm willing to do when it comes to being able to allow you to understand that your ADHD, you called it a superpower earlier, and then you also
Yeah.
was like it's also a weakness. So strengths have weaknesses also to others, but when you're able to realize that those strengths and those superpowers actually overrun what little weaknesses that you do come up a part of. So I just wanted to share that with you and share that with the listeners, because a lot of people when we were younger would backtrack away from us or
Yeah.
backtrack from people because they would be like, well, they're not aware enough to even realize. What people didn't understand was that actually we were, and we were actually multitasking while we are doing it. That was one of the reasons. So I wanted to just share that. And so I just appreciate the fact that you came on and you were aware, you made me aware of it, and the challenge of it. But it was a huge invitation for me to share that, because this is a part of man's mental health awareness. I'm not sitting here throwing jokes at Bodie about his ADHD. I think that's important. I think also we take humor, Bodie, and we use it to deflect. How about
Look at
yourself?
Matthew Perry, right? For example, right? Chandler on Friends. I mean, that's all he used was humor to bypass absolutely everything. Same with Robin Williams, right? Like, I mean, those guys used humor to divert and deflect so much. And as you were talking there before, and I can't tell you exactly what you were saying, but your hat is exactly what got me to where I was, and it's that mindset, right? Like, so if I go into a situation thinking my ADHD kicks ass and it's not a fault or anything like that, then I have that sense of feeling, not that I'm better than anybody I'm talking to, but that they look up to it and they respect it, right? And that I'm so open and free about it. And with your mindset, and I'll just quickly touch on this because I love your hat so much. I was going to ask you, where you got that, and I'm sure I can just pick it up anywhere or whatnot, but I love it because my mom had advanced stage 4 mouth cancer melanoma, and they removed basically her whole face and rebuilt it from her leg and her back. She's totally fine, totally in remission. And then my little sister got stage 4 rectal cancer from Crohn's and colitis, and she's totally fine and everything. And I'll tell you, it was all mindset, because when somebody would say to my mom, Debbie, hey, we're really sorry, and she would shut them up right there. She'd be like, don't even say the word, right? She's like, I'll be back to work in less than a year. She was jogging 2.5 weeks after her surgery, after they removed the bone from her leg and rebuilt her face. Same with my sister. And then I got a heart condition called pericarditis, and I asked my mom, I said, don't you care? Like, why don't you ask me about it? And she said, because I'm not going to feed it. I'm not going to give it that power or anything. And neither are you. Right. And it was all in the mindset. And that's how I look at that ADHD. And anybody who feels like they're struggling with something that the media and people have made it out to be something wrong, like ADHD. You know what I mean? Like when I was a kid, it was called ADD. Now it's ADHD because I hear it so much, right? I'm just conditioned to say it. But with ADD, right, it was always such a bad thing. But it's not. It's such a great thing. It's such a superpower. And if people can take what they think is a fault and turn it into that good mindset, then we are more ahead than anybody could ever imagine.
Yeah. So I want to, the mindset hat. It was given to me by my mindset mentor, Laura St. John, who she fundamentally gave me an amazing foundation. I'd already had I had a great foundation, but the misdiagnosis, the shooting, there was a lot of cracks there, and so we just decided, or I decided that it was best to just kind of take the bulldozer and start a brand new foundation with my mindset and allow other things that to build a better mindset. And so that's what I did. And I got a chance to meet with her a month ago in person. So she's a celebrity mindset coach. And yeah, she always had this hat. And I was like, hey, I want this hat. Like, I want a hat. And so she brought me one to our meeting. Nice. And so, yeah, man, it's amazing, amazing, amazing human being. So Bodie, it is right. Like when we feed things, then we're allowing those to grow. And then when we starve those, we allow those to die off too. So I appreciate you saying that about your mom and that fight, and the fact that like you utilized that experience of her to for your own experience. And so I think that's the other part of just mental health is I don't have to go through the same experience to learn lessons through someone else. So I don't have to have the surgery to take the lessons, right? You don't have to go through the shooting or the misdiagnosis to get the resilience factor that I'm able to give too. I think that's really important.
Yeah, I think because you're shooting. I mean, the scenario you went through, I mean, that's quite significant. And I mean, it takes a lot of strength and everything to come out of a mindset and the visualization and everything that you had went through. But like stuff like that. My grandfather died at 104 years old just a few weeks ago, about a month and a half ago. Okay. His mom lived to 112. And I got to bring this into it because everything that you went through and some of the things I went through were very negative. Right? But my grandfather, his mom lived to 112. My grandfather's got 13 brothers and sisters who are still alive, who are quite elderly. And I asked my grandfather at around 100, and he was quite famous. He was a showman. His name was Montana Steve. And I asked him, I said, what's the secret to life of living so long? He said, always wake up with a purpose. Always have something to do. Never sit around. Always keep going. And he said, number two, I found the most important. He said, when something negative happens, you will always find something positive. Always there will be a positive with something that you can take from that negative situation. And that really hit me. Not just because it was my grandfather, but his wisdom and everything he's been through and everything. I remember when he told me, I said, do you remember anything from when you were a little kid? He said, yeah, he was maybe 12 or something. And the doctor came in with the black little bag because they didn't go to the doctor and his brother was sick. And his doctor said, he has diabetes. He's going to pass away. Right. So I was like, okay. And I said, he said, and then I came home from school one day and he's got a pretty thick Ukrainian accent. So sometimes I mock it, but I said to my grandpa, I said, so what? He said, I came home and my brother was dead in the bed. And I said, then what did you do? And he got mad at me. No. He said, well, what do you mean? What did we do? He's like, my dad gave us all shovels and we buried him. And this is 100 years ago, almost 100 years ago, right? And I was like, and he couldn't understand that. I couldn't understand that concept. You know what I mean? So I really respected when he said you can find the positive out of every negative, and especially for you, Answer. And I mean, fist bump to you, man, because I mean, that's not easy stuff to go through. And same with the stuff that I have, but we learn from people, different scenarios or situations of what people have. You got to be that piece of sticky tape and grab that, that dog hair that's flying around everywhere and grab the best of whatever you can from everybody's attributes, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it's the power of positivity and the power of gratitude. Like when you
Oh,
look at
huge.
take something negative and you look for something positive. Like same thing is when you feel in lack, look for what you have. Like realize you're an abundant human being. Like we are abundant. Abundance is surrounding us. And so it's funny. I thought we would have a conversation about connection around men's mental health awareness. Instead, we're in mindset conversation. It's funny how we're able to just be adaptable too. That's another really, big thing that I do every day is just be adaptable.
It's
Um,
being a social and genuine chameleon, I think. You know what I mean? As long as you're that. And, before I forget, because of my ADHD, do you remember Randy Macho Man Savage from WWF?
oh yeah, one of my
So
favorite
he was
wrestlers.
being interviewed by Arsenio Hall, and I came across it this morning, and his big, deep, deep voice, right? And he's like, "Yeah, I still cry. I've soared with the eagles, and I slithered with the snakes." And he said one thing that he's learned is that there's only one guarantee in life, and the only guarantee is that there is no guarantees in life. And
So
that
true.
hit me this morning before we got onto this podcast, and I was like, "Oh man, holy shit, did that ever hit?" You know. But
Yeah.
again,
So
it's the mindset, right?
yeah, it's the
For me,
mindset. I think the mindset also is about awareness. When you are able to be aware, so it's being having this mindset, but then also realizing there's an awareness aspect to it that builds that mindset even more. For me, I last night I crossed someone's boundary and I didn't really realize it until I woke up this morning and I was like, oh, and then I reached out and apologized because I felt like it was important to realize, hey, I'm aware of it now. I wasn't last night, and I want to apologize. So it's all about awareness, but also keeping ourselves accountable too. So there's a
I
lot
was
of
just
things,
gonna
man.
say, yeah. Doesn't it feel good though to be able to be so confident with yourself now? And I'm not saying you weren't, but for me to say, if I crossed somebody's line, I was petrified of it. I was so afraid of what people thought of me or anything like that. But you know, for you to recognize that the night before, I've been in that similar situation. I couldn't even sleep. You know what I mean? I was like, oh my God, I don't want to text them. It's 3 o'clock in the morning. I don't want to call. But man, I know I crossed that boundary and you can feel it. And when you become empathetic and, you're so self aware with yourself, you start picking up on everybody's frequency. I mean, cell phone secret frequencies go through buildings across the world or whatever. You can't tell me you can't feel my frequency and I can't feel yours, right? So you get to pick up on those kind of things. And again, that's mindset and the mental health that you can be self-aware and be held accountable. I love it, man.
Yeah, the thing is like I don't want people to just think I come on here and I talk about it and I don't live it. Like I truly embody it. And when I make a mistake, I own that mistake. And it's not even a mistake. Like it's an error in judgment. Like
Yeah,
it's not failure. It's just, hey, we're ran out of points when the game ended. And also you can, it, it, I feel like when you take that type of approach, it feels different. It feels like you're supported. It feels like it gets better. If you look at it from we lost, I messed up, blah, 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 and not put it from another standard of I'm learning and rather I don't know. All these things are just true. And it feels better. It also felt better when I got was supported of being able to say, hey, I own this mistake. Again, I'm using the word mistake because It was an error. I'm getting better with my language too as I'm going through this. And so that's the thing
Yeah.
is when I realize I err and I'm hold myself accountable, to me that's important. And I think that
Yeah.
out of anything that we've said today is be supportive to others because you don't know what people are going through. But also, I want to share this, Bodie, real quick. My cousin passed away about a month ago,
Sorry to hear, man.
and last night, same thing. You were talking about you had just had a loss. Also, apologize. I mean, sorry for that. Also, and
Thank you.
and I was just kind of hurting, and I literally could have put the band-aid on myself, but instead I knew that I was loved and supported enough that I could reach out. And when I wasn't the person didn't put the band-aid on, then I had to realize like, oh, I'm not supported. But the truth was I am supported. It just was the boundaries were already set. Hey, I'm not going to be able to talk tonight.
Yeah.
So I took that, I alchemized it, and I was really productive on podcast editing. But the point is, I had to wake up this morning and then I had to apologize for crossing someone's boundaries.
Yeah. And it was probably accepted wonderfully, right? Yeah.
Yeah, and we're going to have
And
a conversation about it too. The point is you have to be able to say I'm willing to do this because most people are
yeah.
unwilling to do it. Their nervous system is so shook up that they don't want to do this. It's a so focused on a I thing. It's not a focus of a better a we or a community, those type of aspects. And so, yeah, it's amazing how we got off to this subject, but
I
it's a
know, right?
beautiful, wonderful conversation, and that's what these podcasts are. It's just the conversation, but also you're getting to see in real time me and Bodie being able to support each other.
Yeah, absolutely. And I kind of, that's one thing I've always said. With when I do my Zooms or whatever, they're not scripted. We can't script anything. It's just got to come right from the soul and from the heart, right? And that's how you get that true ROE, the return on energy, right? Infinite connection equals infinite return on energy.
Right.
And I'm just super grateful to be on here. I'm super grateful that people are interacting with this podcast right now. I've noticed in the chat she's actually part of our Sanctum Circle community, and she's absolutely amazing. And it's we're just so similar, right? Like, and for you to meet, her name's Michelle. For you to meet her, you would find that same kind of similarity, and that's why you and I connect so well. And that's why, when I drive back out to Mexico, I'm gonna stop and see you, man.
Yeah. No,
And we're gonna be able to hang out. We haven't even been able to meet in person, but it'll be like we've known each other for 10 years. It's already been like that, and it's not that we talk every day. And that's what I really appreciate about this friendship, this whatever you want to call it, man. It's just you're a bro.
yeah. So I just want to say I appreciate it. I'm looking forward to meeting you in real life. Like it's gonna be amazing. And you know, the one thing is as we're running out of time, I want to give you time to be able to share what you do and the a link. We'll put a link to Inner Sanctum. But really, the community you're building, man, is supportive, and that is so important. Is to be supportive and also have those real connections. And like you said in your bio, like it's not a transactional connection. It's just a connection. And if it turns into something where you do business, great. If you don't, that's fine too. It could turn into a referral partner. Like you just never know. But ultimately, it's about human connection and people believing and supporting in each other. I think that's the most important thing.
100%. And I built this community. It's Sanctum Circle. You're healing your space, and I built it subconsciously for myself. And I wanted to build a true ecosystem where not only do we help people build their businesses in every capacity so they can help more people around the world, but so that wellness seekers, which we call our subscribers, and that can come in and have a trusted, safe place to enhance their wellness, or like in their spirituality or anything like that. Since this is where my ADHD kicks in, because silly me, I left the chat open so I can see people making comments on here, and I love it. These are great here. The authenticity of this conversation and Sanctum Circle has been life changing. But I wanted to build this community where anybody in the world can subscribe for free, no strings attached, yada yada. And I'm not here to pitch because there's nothing to pitch. It's an offering, where people can subscribe and get access to every single health, wellness, healing, holistic, spiritual, and fitness service and or product all in one place, all at an exclusive discounted rate. And, where people can come as a business owner, in the health, wellness, healing, holistic space, where we significantly and immediately build your business, no matter what stage you're in. So it's a true ecosystem, that we come in there. We're really big on collaboration, not competition. That's one of the biggest things for us there, is to connect you with people and connect people authentically, and genuinely with, with that like-minded energy and frequency with each other. And that's what the Sanctum Circle is, but I'll go back, I started I ended up in the jungle living in Mexico after my dogs died, which is Gibson and Taya. They went through all my good, bad, happy, sad times with me. And when Gibson, he was the last one to go, I packed all my stuff, got out of a toxic relationship, and I sold absolutely everything I owned in a week. And my dog and cat are fighting back here. Come here, Killica, come on. Anyways, yeah, she's just a puppy, but she's been my rock there too, and the girl that I'm with right now as well. But I spent a few years in the jungle with some shamans and healers, and really learned about myself, and then just created a community, and that's with Wellness and Light, our events, and our Sanctum Circle. But yeah, sorry I went off into that because I know we're getting close to the end here, but I wanted to be able to share that with you guys.
Yeah, absolutely. I appreciate you sharing that and giving people a better understanding of the ecosystem that you built. So this is episode 27. Dude, I'll have 3 more of these episodes left to finish this 30 podcast series.
And well, the 27th on the 27th of June, right? I love it. And I noticed that aligned, really well too. 27th episode, and today's the 27th of June.
Yeah, so it's amazing, man, being able to do this and being almost to that finish line of being able to raise man's mental health awareness and have amazing people like yourself supporting me. And so I just want to say thank you, man. I appreciate it. Thank you so much for coming on here. I appreciate you and appreciate you and the awareness that you brought today, sharing it with your community.
Yeah. Hey, well, thank you, and, I hope this has touched, some people and, gave some insight to some people who may have needed it or whatnot. And I'm more, I don't know what word to use. Impressed comes to my mind here, but the availability that you're doing this for, men's mental health, but it goes further than that. You can tell by the chats here, there's women in there, that are relating with what we're talking about and what we're saying, it's diverse into that. So you opening up this space, me opening up the space for Sanctum Circle, you and I coming together just creates that whole return on energy, right? That whole entire circle. A sanctum is your own space for your own healing, right? And so this is what the perfect example of a sanctum is, and this is a perfect way for people to understand that they can show up to win. It's just a win-win, with Sanctum and show up to win to come in there. And I'm just very grateful for you, man. I'm grateful for our next chat after this that's not on the podcast, and have you part of Sanctum Circle. And yeah, so I can't thank you enough, man, for what you're doing for everybody.
Absolutely, man. And so this is episode 27. Episode 28 will be tomorrow, same time. I'm actually going to say this because I was told that I need to say this more. Please share, subscribe. I need your support to be able to help more men, help raise this awareness part. I don't do that enough. I need to do a better job of that. And so I felt led to say that. Tomorrow, episode number 28 with D'Angelo Richardson. Looking forward to having this conversation. When I met him, we had a phone conversation for an hour and a half. So how to keep this to 30 minutes is going to be really amazing. So everyone have a blessed day, and I will see y'all tomorrow.
Thank you so much, Dwayne.